I want to ask one kind of big zoom out question, and then I want to end by talking about a few lessons learned. And, the question that I want to ask is, Ezra, to me, we've talked about a bunch of things here of going from reactive to proactive healthcare, of people having ownership, of patients being in charge of their healthcare. You mentioned that book, The Patient Will See You Now. And this idea that you guys are bringing truly deflationary forces with technology into something that is inherently inflationary, that's catastrophically inflationary now. And so, to me, Ezra seems like this fascinating, very optimistic and exciting glimpse of how healthcare should be. And it's something that maybe feels like it's a decade out, probably decades out from rippling out across other areas. I'd be curious for your perspective. If you try to jump forward 10 years, 20 years in time, what do you hope that healthcare starts to feel like? I imagine you probably have some pretty specific ideas.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I started Ezra with a very clear sense of mission. And our mission is to detect cancer early for everyone in the world. And we have this very clear North Star, which is every year, about 10 million people find cancer late. And so our mission at Ezra is in a decade to 20 years from now. And I personally plan to work on this for the rest of my career. We are finding cancer early for those 10 million people, which means we're screening probably like 100 million people, because we're not going to find cancer in every person we screen. And so if we find cancer in 10% of our members, we'll have to screen 10 times more members in order to find cancer early for those 10 million people. So that's Ezra. If I zoom out and I look at the healthcare system and healthcare in general, and try to kind of draw a line to what I think might be true a decade from now, is I think a much more significant part of healthcare is about preventative care, about proactive early detection, about holistic kind of approach to healthcare, as opposed to treating people who are already in a chronic disease state.
So moving from reactive to proactive, and effectively just that rippling across everything. Well, and this is something that's come up before, where it's like healthcare. I'm sorry, but it's a misnomer today. It's like what it actually is sick care today, and what you actually want to move to is actual healthcare, where you are caring for your health when you're healthy, and it all revolves around proactivity.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing: it's actually a lot simpler to invest in preventative and proactive care than it is to treat people who are in kind of various degrees of chronic disease. Like, it's much easier to prevent diabetes than to treat diabetes. It's much easier to do a partial surgery for removing a malignant small breast tumor than to do mastectomy plus radio plus chemo. So it is investing in preventative care and investing in detection just makes logical sense for a rational individual, and the tools are there, but they're not kind of evenly distributed just yet. And I think we need to invest.
Totally. I mean, this may be a silly tangent, but it almost seems like, what if we applied healthcare as it exists today to software development? And you said, we're not going to focus on great coding and making, kind of doing all this testing up front. We're going to be kind of lazy there. And we're just going to invest all our resources in handling catastrophic issues when the software fails and when the software goes down. Everyone would be like, what are you doing? This needs to, you need to work way more upstream. Why are you taking that approach?
100%. And I feel that somehow, unfortunately, the incentives are misaligned in healthcare, skewing towards treating sick patients instead of preventing disease. But with value-based care and everything in that kind of realm, I think things are getting better on that front.
Yeah. I think as well, just generationally, you also now have, I think of myself and kind of anyone younger, I think they all inherently see and think of their health as something that they need to manage. It's on them. They're tracking it. So it's a very different
Preaching to the
perspective.
choir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.